Welcome back to the Gold News Channel. My name is Kerry Stevenson. Today, I'm speaking with Emmerson Resources. ASX code is ERM. And you may think that Emmerson Resources is just another mining company. Well, I'm here to tell you they're not. They're actually also an emerging royalty business. And that's why you need to sit up and get excited, because it's a little bit different. But here to tell the story and to help us understand why it's mining and royalties is their CEO and Managing Director, Rob Bills. Rob, lovely to see you in this COVID crazy time.
Thank you very much. Great pleasure, Kerry.
Rob, first up, before we get started, just explain to our audience who are Emmerson Resources, because I did mention not just mining, it's also a royalty business.
That's correct. I think that's really something quite unique amongst junior mining companies, the emerging royalty business. Look, essentially, we're an explorer with a royalty business. We hold two big ground positions in, I think, are the exploration hotspots in Australia. So we own sort of 90% of the Tennant Creek Mineral Field in the Northern Territory. We've been there since 2007. And as most of you will probably appreciate, that's one of the highest grade goldfields in Australia. Yeah. And we're using new technology there to make new discoveries. In addition, we hold 4 big projects since 2016-17 in New South Wales in the Macquarie Arc. Now, most of you also understand Macquarie Arc is where, the big copper gold deposits, the Boda discovery from Alkane Resources, Cadia Ridgeway, all of those. So yeah, we got into that area quite early, Kerry. So we've got some great ground positions there. That's early stage copper gold, greenfields exploration.
Right. Let's just go back to Tennant Creek for a moment, because some of the big boys up in that area, because you mentioned you've got a very strong land position up there. It's suddenly coming onto the radar of the bigger boys at the moment. Is that correct?
That's correct. We're surrounded now by Rio Tinto to our north. We've got Newcrest in there, BHP are there, and a plethora of junior mining companies. So it really is an exploration hotspot. It's on the back of some new geological data that the NT Geological Survey have released, and I think it's really around finding more of these what we call iron oxide copper gold deposits undercover. So that's what's drawn everyone in.
So where are Emmerson and what are you guys doing right now? Because there is talk of the fact that these could be potentially stranded assets. There's no mills around the area. What are you going to do? You can find the asset, but then how do you process it?
Yes, well, that's been the rate limiting step, Kerry, historically, and we've solved that issue. We've done a joint venture with Tennant Consolidated Mining Group. These guys specialise in the hub and spoke model, where the hub is the mill, and then they do deals with companies like Emmerson that have resources that feed the mill. So we've got this joint venture now with them. They're going to build the mill in Tennant Creek, and we've got already some resources, and we're making more discoveries to fill that pipeline up. So that will feed the mill, and as you say, unlock those the value out of those assets.
Just explain to me who they are and how the joint venture will work. From an investor point of view, where's the value add, I guess, in this joint venture? And who are these people?
Yeah, so Tennant Consolidated Mining Group is a bit of a mouthful. They came out of a group called TransAsia out of Hong Kong. Okay. TransAsia, they fund a lot of things, agriculture, mining, Gympie Gold. There's a lot of things they do fund, very keen on the gold sector. How do you get value out of it? There's 2 main ways. The key is obviously discovery. So they're funding us $10.5 million over 5 years in the joint venture area to conduct new technology, to conduct exploration and apply new technology to make new discoveries. So we're the managers and operators of the exploration joint venture.
Okay.
In addition, there's a small mines joint venture or a mining joint venture. So as soon as we make a discovery, it gets to a certain point, it's handed over into a mines joint venture, and that is run by them. They do all the permitting, the mining, the processing, we get a 6% gold royalty out of that. So the two main value drivers, Kerry, if you like, are discovery in the exploration joint venture area, and then mining and processing in the mining joint venture, whereby we get the royalty.
Now that royalty, because I was talking to, EB Tucker recently, who's got a royalty business, and it's a great way to get exposure to the gold business, but 6%, that's quite a strong royalty. Was that a negotiation? That's because I think they're normally 2 to 3%. Am I correct? Like a Franco-Nevada?
That is. They're more in the range of 1 to 2%. So 6%, I think I've benchmarked it against the Franco royalties. I think it's one of the highest royalties, in the world. So it was a tough negotiation. We believe that the royalty is in fact quite a fair royalty for all the work that we've done previous to these discoveries. We've put a lot of effort and time into the Tennant Creek field. So it is a very good royalty, and I think it de-risks Emmerson, Kerry, because as you know, royalty companies, they sit there and see the checks roll in. They don't actually have to take the risk of building the mill and doing the processing. That's a big risk, So, shareholders of Emmerson are not exposed to that risk, which I think is a great thing.
What's your time frame for this mill? Where are you at with that?
So that's down to our joint venture partner. So it's their time frame. As I understand it, they've looked at a number of options. A, building a new mill in Tennant Creek, or B, buying a second-hand mill. Now, option B looks like it's got the Guernsey. It's a lot quicker. I think they've found a mill that they're now negotiating on, and that mill will be moved across to Tennant Creek early next year, as I understand it, probably in production towards the end of next year, hopefully.
Wow. So within 18 months into production. So that releases these stranded assets and allows you to get on with the mining and the production, yes?
That's exactly right. So, what we hope, that from now going forward to when the mill actually starts processing, obviously we'll be doing a lot of exploration, and we've also been moving some existing resources that we've already got into JORC estimates, so that's in the mining joint venture. So they're paying the bills on that, but that is additional drilling, flora and fauna surveys, permitting, all of those things that you do in advanced studies. They're doing all of that. And eventually what we'll do is we'll be able to put out a JORC resource, and hopefully some of those JORC resources on some of those stranded assets will be coming out later this year. And then our shareholders will be able to calculate what 6% of those stranded assets will actually look like.
Then you can do it on the back of an envelope. Now, listen, we're running out of time. I'd be remiss of me not to just briefly touch on your New South Wales assets, what you're doing with that. And then I want to wrap it up with the investor case. So what about New South Wales?
New South Wales is early stage, Kerry. We've done a data compilation of all of New South and tried to work out where we think the next big discoveries will be. We've teamed up with University of Tasmania, trialing some new geoscientific techniques to get a bit smarter about vectoring into where these new Bodas and Cadia Ridgeways are going to be. So we've been applying that across the field. We've got 5 projects there. The most advanced one is a project called Keola. It's south of Cowra. And we've just done a big geophysical survey there, luckily before the COVID breakout. And we've got some fantastic drill targets. So look, we hope to be drilling that later this year, COVID permitting, of course, and being able to secure a drill rig. So very exciting time. It's a high risk, high reward type project.
Emmerson Resources, as I said right at the start, not just another mining company, it's that royalty, which I think is pretty exciting. So congratulations on that negotiation, Rob. It's great to see you again. We know that you're going to be presenting at the Gold Conference, which was going to be in November. Probably going to be February next year, but we'll keep in touch with you through the Gold News channel in the meantime. Thanks for joining me today.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Kerry.